We see Edward's venom taking effect on Bella, and there's a whole bunch of flashbacks going on in her brain with like clips from all 4 movies. Bella's eyes pop open and her eyes are fucking red. Oh shit! Oh my god, Bella's a vampire now! So the movie starts and Bella and Edward are holding each other and staring into each other's red ass eyes, and Edward's like, we're the same temperature now. Then Bella wants to see her baby, Renesmee, and Edward's like, bitch, you need to hunt. You need to, learn to control your thirst for blood because Renesmee is half human and half vampire. So Bella's running through this forest, jumping over waterfalls and shit, getting used to her supernatural speed. She smells a deer, but then this mountain climber cuts his knee like 20 miles away, and Bella smells him all the way where she is, and she starts sprinting through the forest and climbing mountains and cliffs and shit, and Edward's like, control yourself, bitch. She's about to kill this deer, and then a mountain lion is like, LOL, no bitch, that's my meal, and Bella's like, okay bitch, and then she eats the mountain lion. Then Jacob walks up in his tight ass shirt as usual, and Bella tells him that now that she's a vampire and he's a werewolf, that he stinks. Then Bella goes to see Renesmee for the first time, and when I tell you that this baby looks so fake, and I know I sound silly because it's a movie about vampires and werewolves, but let me tell you, this baby has such a fake ass big CGI head. It was the fakest baby I'd ever seen in my life. They gave Bella a baby straight out The Sims. So as Bella is sitting there connecting with her child, Jacob chooses this opportunity to tell her that he imprinted on Renesmee. Bella goes ballistic with her new super strength and starts knocking Jacob all over the place. Then Seth and Leah come to the rescue because they know Jacob is getting thrown around, and Bella throws Seth into a tree before she calms her tits. So then Bella and Edward are in the bedroom, and Bella's like, vampires don't sleep. So she throws Edward on the bed, and there's, legs and curling toes and sheet gripping and awkward sex faces. Then everyone tells Jacob that they have to tell Bella's dad that Bella died so that everyone can leave town. Jacob's like, oh hell no. So he goes to Bella's dad in the middle of the woods and starts stripping down and getting naked. And Bella's dad is like, whoa there. And then Jacob turns into a wolf in front of him and, kind of semi-exposes everything. And then he tells him where Bella is. So Bella meets with her dad and is sitting there trying to resist the urge to suck all his blood. Renesmee is growing like 50 inches a week, and then one day while she's playing in the field with Jacob and Bella, one of the Cullens' cousins sees her and gets all nosy. So this bitch runs to the Volturi and tells them that Bella and Edward had a baby. So the Volturi think Renesmee is an immortal child, which is basically this child that is bitten and turned into a vampire, and it becomes so powerful that it just goes crazy and kills entire villages, and then the vampires will be exposed. But Renesmee was born a vampire, so all that shit is irrelevant, but the Volturi is just some bunch of petty bitches, and they don't like the Cullens, so they don't care. Then Alice and Jasper just disappear and leave some whack-ass note telling the family to go collect witnesses, which is basically 15 minutes of Renesmee touching people's faces. So they have this huge-ass army of vampires, and most of them have special powers. There's a bitch that can shock people, there's one that can control all the elements and all types of shit, and for a minute I thought I was watching X-Men. And the Volturi are gathering witnesses too in case they have to kill Renesmee so that a bunch of people can see that justice has been served, which basically means they're a bunch of power-hungry ass bitches. So then Bella realizes that the note that Alice and Jasper left was ripped out of some book, like it was written on a torn page out of a book. And so she goes to the bookshelf and she finds the book, and on the book there's written J. Jinx, Seattle. So Alice made sure that Bella got the message because nobody can read Bella's mind. So Bella burns the book and she goes to Seattle to meet this J. Jinx, who turns out to be a lawyer. He gives Bella passports for Jacob and Renesmee, which basically means that when the Volturi comes and everything gets nasty, that Jacob and Renesmee are supposed to leave the country and Jacob is supposed to protect Bella's baby. So this is the part where shit gets real. The Volturi finally arrive and they're marching across the field in the snow looking like a bunch of Hogwarts students going to get some butterbeer. Aro calls Edward forward and he does some shit with his hands. I don't know what the fuck he was doing, and then he was like, I'd like to meet her. So Bella and Renesmee and Emmett walk up to Aro, and Renesmee starts touching faces again, and Aro finally sees that she is indeed half human and half vampire. So the cousin that blabbed in the first place and started all this mess gets her arms ripped off and beheaded and burnt. So of course some of the family gets angry and they're about to attack, but Edward and some of the others are like, no, she's already dead, you'll get the rest of us killed. And then Dakota Fanning's bitch ass just decides to attack Edward for no reason. So Bella uses her powers to resist the bitch. Dakota Fanning is pressed, and then Aro starts preaching about how Renesmee is still an unknown threat to the continuation of vampires. All of a sudden, Alice and Jasper just struts onto the field, and Alice is like, I have proof that Renesmee is not a risk. She starts doing her little sightseeing shit, and she realizes that Aro doesn't really care and he's gonna do what he wants anyway. So Alice turns around and she gives the cue for Renesmee and Jacob to get the fuck out, and then she turns around and kicks Aro in the face. So they drag Alice away, and then Carlisle, who is the dad of the Cullens, lunges at Aro, and Aro rips off his fucking head. And basically, all fucking hell breaks loose. Everyone's fighting and Bella is trying to shield everybody, but Dakota Fanning is not having it. Dakota Fanning paralyzes Jasper and he gets killed. Some dude with dreadlocks that are way too long is chasing Jacob and Renesmee through the forest. Dakota Fanning kills Seth, and then Leah starts crying, which Jacob hears all the way in the woods, and so he gets distracted and emo and starts tearing up as a fucking werewolf. Then the Bruno Mars looking vampire splits the earth and bitches start falling into the core of the planet. Alice goes after Dakota Fanning, and Dakota Fanning is sitting there trying to paralyze her, but Bella is blocking it, and Alice literally has the face of death. So Dakota Fanning starts running around the field like she's a little girl again in that movie with Denzel Washington about to get kidnapped, but Alice catches her ass and feeds her to a werewolf. Dakota Fanning's brother is pissed, and he tries to do something, but he literally gets attacked and he has his head ripped off from the mouth. So Aro has lost both of his sidekicks, and he calls himself getting angry and trying to kill Edward, but Bella climbed up on his shoulders and Edward broke his spine and Bella ripped that nigga's head off. Then his detached head and his big ass eyes sees Bella burning him with a fire pit or something, like a fireball on a stick, and there's all these flames, and then there's fuckery, revelation, plot twist. We've been visually and mentally fucked. It goes back to when Alice is doing her sightseeing shit, and it turns out none of the fight actually happened, and it was just Alice showing Aro what would happen if he went through with killing Renesmee. And Alice is like, that's right, bitch. You might want to rethink your decisions. And all of a sudden Aro is like, there's no danger here. We will not fight today. And everyone lives happily ever after. And then, when I thought the movie was over and that I wouldn't cry, Edward and Bella are back in the field of purple flowers. And they have flashbacks of when Bella first saw Edward and when they got married and other little special moments. And this sappy ass music is playing, and I lost it. I fucking lost it. And just like Harry Potter, another series has ended. Another piece of childhood gone. Just like Natalie Portman in The Black Swan, it's gone. And that concludes me spoiling Twilight. The series is officially over. If you didn't see me spoil Paranormal Activity 4, then go watch that because you should.